Hello travellers, we are here again in East Devonport, or Torquay it was, back in the 1850s. We're actually right on Policeman's Point. I'm not too sure what year it was all dug out and made the river bigger, but there was an actual point right here, and they took it away to give bigger boats more access. We actually come across here we are. Hello, Jason.
Oh, g'day, travellers.
We actually come across an article from 53.
Yes, 1850, Wednesday, the 23rd of November, 1853,
And
in the Courier from Hobart. Weekly Courier, I suppose, or Courier.
Yeah, and it talks about a little bit on Policeman's Point and what was happening. What do you got there, Jason?
So this is news from the interior.
Yeah.
From our own correspondent at Port Frederick, which was this area as well. Last week, a party of Canadians employed in the erection of a sawmill on the River Don were in the Torquay township in a very inebriated state and civilly urged by one of the petty constables stationed there to return home. The moderate request was taken highly amiss by these independents gents, and several set upon the single constable armed with bowie knives, and after driving him to his police hut, which was here on this site, their continued and violent threats obliged the policeman in self-defence to fire a blank cartridge. 5 of the ringleaders were next day apprehended for their violent conduct and brought before the assistant police magistrate. When the case, assuming a somewhat serious aspect, the representations of the employer who attended the case induced the police magistrate to suffer the affair to be arranged out of court, which lenient course it is hoped will not be misinterpreted. In the afternoon of the same day, a respectable gentleman from Launceston was returning from visiting his land on the Mersey, and about midway between it and Port Sorrel was overtaken by a large party of Yankees, armed to the teeth with revolvers, ordinary pistols, bowie knives and etc., whose object was the release by force of their comrades. In anything but select language, they asked Mr. H what spy he was, using other mysterious but expressive imitations of their intentions. The gentleman fell into the rear and was shortly after joined by the brother of their employer, who advised Mr. H to return, candidly telling him it was not safe in his prosecuting journey. Mr. H declined, returning as he was travelling to obtain a passage to Launceston by the Rosanna from Burgess, which is now Port Sorrel. He was then advised to seek the gentleman's brother, who was at Port Sorrel, and under his protection he would be safe. Towards sundown, the armed party reached Burgess and dropped into the Port Sorrel Inn by 2s, 3s and 4s at a time, to the number of 22, and after a sojourn of some hours, their passions were in some degree disarmed by their employer telling them their comrades their case, and had been arranged to their own satisfaction. They still lingered in the township and around the watch house, keeping the entire constabulary under arms all night, and now declare they will have revenge for insult put upon them by a convict constable. 1853, she was pretty wild here, wasn't it?
Dirty old convict constable.
We've worked out since that, so they were Canadians, yes.
Yep.
And they were from the Don. They were building the sawmill there for Canadian
Cummins and Co,
which became the River Don Company.
Yep.
The River Don Trading Company.
Yep.
So they were all Canadians there at that time.
And they was coming from the Hudson Company in Canada.
Yep.
So they brought their own workforce.
Mm-hmm.
But the Yankees,
Yankees, they were Canadians, but the Yankees.
They was bringing their Wild West pistols and bowie knives.
Yeah.
But she was the Wild West here.
It was, wasn't it? That's what
We've got heaps of reports of that she was not a very safe place to live.
No, Ballyhoo, Torquay, she was she was a wild
So
state.
Torquay, East Devonport. The river, or the head of the river, was called Port Frederick. And then on the other side, what was it called?
Formby.
The Formby. But for the first 50 years, this was the place.
This was it, yes.
This is where she all happened. But anyway, this is the original Policeman's Point. You can sort of see this little bit of a area here that would have been land, and there was a jail two other policemen accommodation or constables accommodation, and there was a jetty, two jetties here. So, but
And bathing baths too.
and bathing baths
They were
just there in that little dip
Yep,
there.
Yep.
So all gone now. But anyway, Travers, catch up.